Alright, it's time to finish everything once and for all. For real this time! Now we know everything that went down, at least from the plan of what the intended murders were. Time to figure out the counter plan! Exactly what stopped Dahlia from committing her plan to kill Maya to begin with. So let's dig in and hear from the wonderful lady herself. Now then, before I proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. Tests? Yes, tests! On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that! I totally forgot about that.
That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim.
Supposedly, yes. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or... Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. Okay, so it was not what stabbed Misty Fey, thank God. That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. So what's Misty's blood on that dagger? And whose was it? So somebody got stabbed by that, something important to note. So, there we go. We have that now. I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor.
From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So, let's finish this quickly.
Alright then. Agreed.
Very well, please bring in the last witness.
It's time to finish everything off with our most reliable witness we could think of, probably. But anyway, welcome back everybody to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. This is your host, the MJ406. And well, it's time to listen to Maya's handle of the situation.
Witness, please tell us your name and profession.
Aren't you going to call her a lovely lady and say it's one of your rules? Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at White & Company Law Offices. Maya? Oh, man. She's really down. I feel bad for her.
According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the karate channeling technique.
I'm frightened. The Fey clan. I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable.
Very well. Now then, Miss Fey, when the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple, and you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Dunham's murder. Is this correct?
I didn't see
Objection. Any— Shut the hell up! Straight up this instant, young lady!
Huh?
Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later.
But I...
Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor. Man, this is the first time I feel bad for a witness having to testify for this crap. And again, it's Maya. Watching her own mom die, who she hasn't seen in 17 years. Like, dude, that's really tragic. She had some strong mental fortitude just to be able to stand up here for this. Good on her, I guess, but damn. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. Ah. I stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. Warm splashed over you?
So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff.
Maya, the person who hit you, it was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't!
Ha! Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone.
No, definitely not.
It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination.
Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. Oh, man, it feels cruel. I figures this would be the last person to have a testimony. Something cruel like this. Makes it sound like the case goes out on a whimper. It doesn't, but, well, we gotta build that satisfying ending through all the sorrow and such. Who else was on the Inner Temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini in Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training. Ah, okay. So you were distracted too much to notice her come in. That might have when you got struck on the head. Okay. Who did it? Who hit you? Who fucking hit her? Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Ow. Oh! Let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. I was really having a hard time. What should I do? Well, cruelty be damned. I gotta do it. Come on, Maya. This isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person? Well, let me think. It was, oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it.
It was dark?
It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spiritual training.
Come to think of it, there was earlier testimony to that effect as well. So it was dark in the garden on the night of the crime.
Which is why she didn't see her attacker. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not.
Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely
the spirit that was channeled by Elise Dunham, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Very well. Please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck in the head?
Haha. You said you felt like she was trying to hide something.
Hold it!
It's possible. What happened afterwards? My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape. I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only two things rolling around in my mind at the time.
Well now, this is beginning to get interesting.
So what were the two things rolling around in your mind? My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was.
All right then. It's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So, what'd you do then?
I mean, I guess testing your memory that way is one way to go about it. Huh. Never thought of that. You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man? A woman? An adult? A child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes.
Ew. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope. Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press for more details? Okay. Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? Yeah, you're being confronted by someone trying to kill you. What? What do you mean by your last hope? No. That's what you said. You said, my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look. You were facing an attacker that you couldn't see, and you screamed, right? You screamed, help me. Yeah. But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like, what do you call it when that happens? Mine's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. Yep. Ah! Wait, what is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh? Wait, so were you hiding something after all?
Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Why the attacker? There was another person?
I am. Well, I meant to keep that part a secret.
Maya!
What have I done?
Huh. It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say.
A ton of pressure?
You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber.
Yep.
Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
No, I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern.
Hold it!
I'll go over that in a bit. You don't mean... Was it... I didn't know it at the time, but I think it was probably blood. Is she saying that it's when Miss Dunham, who was channeling Dahlia, was stabbed in the back by the killer? At that moment, I was paralyzed with fear. I was just sitting there in the snow. I'm sure blood got on everything around me. Yeah, that would make sense. And then you lost consciousness. Okay. So what happened next? I don't remember.
How were you saved? You don't even remember that?
No, I haven't got any idea. I really don't know what happened at all.
That's too bad.
I've worked side by side with Maya for 2 years now. I can tell she's trying to hide something by how she acts. Right now, I'm absolutely certain she's hiding something. And we uncovered that. So it seems she found somebody who possibly came to her rescue.
Hold it!
And that's our key. A man? Who was this man? Well, you see, I couldn't see. You couldn't see? She's used this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright.
Lantern light? Did you say?
There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. Yeah, I know that. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Hey, you know what they say. Under the lantern, darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker, who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. Aha. Okay. By the light of the stone lantern. Right. Godot even presented that this was not lit at the time of the crime because the wick was too worn out.
Objection!
Therefore, that lantern could not have been lit. So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. Aha, that man. He's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Dunham, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer? Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you?
What's the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
I'm sorry, but to be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed that huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? Yep. It's true. Godot even said it. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No! Yeah, she really is trying to protect the one who saved her.
Order the court! But Mr. Godot, explain this!
And he's all calm and collected as usual.
Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. There is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait. Olay. The cafe au lait? Is that even legal?
Cafe au lait. Yeah, right.
You said it wrong though.
Damn it.
Mr. Trait's words are the milk, and you are the spoon. Your Honor! I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony part, I'll have you know. I prefer to be a fork. Not literally, sir. You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that.
Objection!
I know, but sorry, that is not going to cut it.
What did you say?
If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick! May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No! Sorry, Maya, I know that whoever this man is saved your life, but I had to convict them.
Order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss May saw the real killer under pitch black conditions?
Objection!
Yes, I did.
Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source in the scene.
Objection!
There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot.
Huh?
Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him.
Cover? For the man that killed her mother?
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you.
Ha! You tell a good game, right? Let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so look at the witness see. I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick, don't! Please stop! Nope, I had to go all the way. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. All right, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss May saw in the darkness? It was a man who we haven't seen for a while, who supposedly can be seen in dark places. Well, it's finally time to start digging into why exactly you were there. Like I hinted at before, because it was pitch black, Miss Fay was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes?
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Yes, Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this court be turned off. Thank you for that. Everybody like how we can't see anything?
Well, this is... But it can't be! Huh.
Yep, remember, somebody can use that to see in the dark. And it shows.
That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite.
Uh-huh. So, we found our real murderer, finally. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Now we just gotta prove that he was there.
Order! 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 Prosecutor Godot! What is the meaning of this?
And the plot thickens once more.
Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Huh. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. Well, what do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules.
Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights?
Well, witness, answer the question.
You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya! I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man for a totally different reason. What? Come on, Maya. Come on.
Witness! Mr. Wright, what the? Huh, stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? How dare you? I'm the judge! Yep, and I'm the prosecutor. I'll rescue. No! If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules.
All right. God damn, you guys are complicated. Well, then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... Uh-huh. So, you're gonna try to hide it more. Godot's the one who saved you, isn't he? When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Yeah, it did. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. Well, excuse me for that. And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. Yeah. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. Jeez, that's kind of sexist of you to assume that way. It could have been a woman in that regard, damn it.
So it was after the crime took place and the witness came to think the killer was a man?
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor,
Oh, no need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said. You were utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man.
Oh, yeah, body lifting and all that. Okay, I can see why you think that now. Never mind. Be a little harder for a woman to pull that off.
Mr. Wright, proceed to the cross-examination.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Well, whatever. Let's finally dig into this. So you were on the training hall floor after the incident, right? So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden. Is that right? Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So then the person that carried you into the inner temple.
It could only have been the killer.
Uh-huh. That's what I think, too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. Okay. That makes sense to me. I need to see something inconsistent with what she says she saw. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. It looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. Okay, so come back to that statement, the second one, about the garden changing.
Hold it!
Got it. Okay, the torches were lit? Yes, that's how I noticed the whole scene had changed. I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be?
The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body?
That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Huh.
Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene.
Right. I need to hear about the crime scene being changed before I get a prove that you saw that change. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. Right, it was shoveled all around the stone lantern. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use. Yeah, that makes sense.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take the snow away?
Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. Oh, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with the blood on it,
huh.
There's no need to remove that amount.
That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. Ha.
It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue.
But I think this will help them explain them. You think so? Okay. Why would a man want to do all that snow in particular, though? So, you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes. But earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene, but for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. She definitely does. Alright, now we know more about the garden changing, we can go through this again. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. Why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me, for my sake.
What? Hiding it for you?
Everyone knew that I was the only one in the inner temple that night. Your sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden. Ah, she may have thought that you had done it.
No, she definitely would have thought so.
Shut up, Judge.
And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. And why didn't you add that to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. Ah, I see there is a contradiction there, but they did it for your sake? Well, if the body and the blood hadn't been removed, I would have immediately been the prime suspect, right?
Yes, I suppose that's true.
Yeah, and if that happened, the body would have caused some other problems, too. If a real identity had come out right then, it would have been terrible. Yeah. They didn't want to know it was Misty Faye. Pastor Karine killed my own daughter. I don't think Maya would have been able to handle it. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But still, it's rather difficult to fathom the killer's motives. What reason is there to go through that much trouble to protect you?
Yeah. They cleaned it up for your sake. Yet again, the stone lantern continues to be the problem. The body of Lee student was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then in the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood, was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there is still one matter that seems somewhat odd.
Oh? And what would that be?
You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. Yeah, you didn't see that, did you? It was written very clear on the white stone lantern. Maya. Ah! Uh-huh. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern?
Ah! You're right!
Yep, that's right. Godot didn't see that, so he didn't even know. Order! But, Mr. Wright, isn't it the fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Well, indeed. But it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing! Yeah.
But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior?
I think I do.
Why would this killer move the body, remove all that snow, and then leave the bloody writing on that lantern?
I don't know what the killer's plan was, but the fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern, there must be a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? Just keep remembering the fact that we're trying to accuse Godot of being that man, because of the first thing of his visor showing in the darkness. Because of that, we have to keep going with his weaknesses. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, what remains must be the truth.
Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. You keep stealing my line though, that's really annoying.
The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There is no way any normal person would. What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who is this person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing?
Take that!
Well, it's nice you keep eating your own words, but Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday.
My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles in my head, I still can't see everything.
Yep. So you noticed in the last trial and this one. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? Yep. This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern! There's something written on it! Why? It's written in blood!
Hoof, nonsense! This lantern is as clean as a whistle!
Or so you thought, anyway. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? Yep. That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations. And in case you do need a reminder,
this is the apron that delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on.
Yep.
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain.
Maybe they were too intimidated to tell you about it. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. Uh-huh.
Huh. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern?
Well, here we go. We have our murderer.
Hey, Greps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea.
Ah, you couldn't see that either. It would just look really weird, I guess. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. Sorry, Godot. I finally figured out the truth. That explains why he's so defensive against me on this case, I suppose. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Dunham, also known as Miss Misty Fey. It's hard to believe this may be true. However, once again, Mr. Rice brought up a disquieting fact about you.
Huh.
Let's battle, bitch.
Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Greps. Come on. How does a little graffiti make me into the killer?
Ah.
Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there.
Objection!
Yeah, I know, but I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red.
This is rich. Do go on, trite.
The answer is right there at the crime scene. Yeah. In the snow.
The snow? How so?
Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area?
Yes, why did he take just that area? Could it be?
Uh-huh, he couldn't see it. The killer could see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so, he had to remove all the snow. He could be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. I mean, you can't deny that.
Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark?
Nah, not with your visor. Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see it just fine.
It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
Yep. You're having a tough time now, aren't you? Wait, Maya, what are you doing? Well, wait just a minute. Maya?
Well, what is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up. Oh, come on, Maya.
Maya,
Oh, man. Stop covering for him.
you can't testify to something like that.
Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but I'm...
Shut up!
Eek!
After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She did it? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Ah, right.
Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time
Yep.
because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right.
But please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya, do you play to cover for Godot there, what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her.
Ha! Nicely done, Trite.
Yep.
Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened in the inner temple after the murder.
Yes, sir. After I woke up and began channeling, my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearlie was there in the inner temple, too. She was the murderer. I don't think you would actually go along with that, Maya. Pearlie was also stuck in the inner temple side that night. Uh-huh. Next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived in the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. Huh. Okay.
Who is this Pearlie?
That's my little cousin, Pearlfay.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry. But what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath.
Ha! The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot! Let's just move on to the cross-examination. If the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but, well, Mr. Wright?
Let's get this cross-examination started. Yep, Godot's playing along. I wonder why, though. If he's really the one who murdered Elise Dunham, why is he playing along with this? I don't know.
Hold it!
Well, whatever, let's just keep going. So where do you think Pearls slept that night? In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. Ow! Are you still not okay? Yeah. Ow! There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during Acolyte's training. God, he's eating too many burgers.
Even so, why'd you go to the inner temple in the first place?
It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Dunham. That's what happened. Poor Pearl. She searched the entire inner temple side, end to end? Well, you see, Pearlie gets pretty scared when she's alone. There weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. The inner temple side has 2 structures, the training hall and a spare prep room. And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it. There's a storage shack, too? Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate.
So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack.
Aha! Maybe that's where you know who was hiding. Ah. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge? What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times.
Poor little girl. All alone like that. Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the Sacred Cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock.
She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls.
What happened after the bridge was finally fixed?
Right. That's when Yusei Godot finally showed up. Okay, that could make sense. So it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot.
That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question?
Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness. I'm sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touche, Mr. Wright. Oh, well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot? Yeah, damn right. You like that loophole I came up with?
Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't have been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass.
So he had never visited Hoscore Temple or the Inner Temple, huh?
Huh. You want to say something, Trite?
In any case, I had to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examined Maya, that is. Damn it, Maya! Very well, please go on your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the Inner Temple side, right? Yes, then Mr. Godot. He found Pearl first and cheered her up. Okay. He cheered her up? That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot. And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. I mean, he's got a good character at least.
Huh, cut it out. You're making me blush.
This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one.
The truth is there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs, so I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way. Godot style. I'm the same way. I like to hand out verdicts my own way, judge style.
Maybe I have some questions, Phoenix style. Cheering her up or the investigation? You said you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything?
It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern.
Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles.
The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty of the training hall.
Beauty?
Misty Faye, naturally, clad in stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Western tastes? Can you find a stranger way to describe gravy? So from there you headed for the prep room? Wait a sec. What did Godot say just now? I think I found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been in the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Dunham. Aha! So, he saw the scroll of Misty Faye, huh? That's interesting.
Hold it!
Let me just make sure I have everything right here. Let me go ask about him cheering up Pearls. Just in case. So now I know he saw that scroll at some point. Because after the bridge was already pulled up, it was covered in gravy. So he couldn't have seen it then. So you cheer Pearls up?
When I found that little girl, the first thing she asked about was her cousin, Maya Faye.
Really?
The bridge had burned down and she was huddled up in that tiny shack with no heat, even though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there. She asked about you before she said a thing about herself.
Pearlie!
I noticed that you weren't anywhere on the Inner Temple side, but I couldn't find it in me to tell her that, so I gave her my last cup.
Of coffee? Why'd you give her coffee?
With milk and sugar, to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth.
Oh, okay.
What a sweet story!
He had a thermos of coffee? Why doesn't that surprise me? Okay. So, we now know that he said something about seeing that scroll. So, we have this to prove him wrong. This previous statement, saying that was his first time near a temple. If that was the case, he would have only seen the gravy on the scroll. Mr. Godot, The first time he crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place. Well, why do you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall.
Hey, scroll!
But Mr. Godot was right! That scroll shows a picture of my mother! Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this.
What's that wonderfully delicious smell?
I said look, not smell. It's not scratch and sniff, Judge. The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? Why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Fey. That's right, only seeing it beforehand could have told you that. Well, wait a minute, Nick! Yes? To take another look at the hanging scroll! Look, at the top! There's a crest there! Oh, that. It's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly! So if you know the meaning of the mark...
Didn't even guess that it was a picture of Misty Fey on there!
Wow, good try, though. True, Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this, clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh! Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding in the Inner Temple long before the crime took place. Yep, that's the only way you could have been there prior. Had to have been before the bridge caught on fire.
Can I ask you one little thing, Trite?
What is it?
This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed.
That's right! Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene. Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh?
What did you say? How? Is it really possible that another person knew of that plan?
Yeah, look at the plan itself. It was opened once before, therefore somebody knew of it, and he was the only one there who wasn't part of that plan, so this crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in the Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time Little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed.
Unsealed?
Uh-huh. This killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place in the Inner Temple.
And you still insist this crafty killer is me?
You bet I do.
But you just said that the instructions were hidden.
But that's right! Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. I mean, possibly, but if he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out.
Yes, and when was that?
During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter, Pearl, about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden.
Eavesdropping on a visit to the detention center?
Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. And, well, like for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Yeah, it's getting easier and easier to tell it was you.
Order! But Mr. Godot, you're under fire again!
This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder! I mean, well, yeah, since he was the one over there, that would make sense, actually.
Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness as coffee.
Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean?
These are the reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the Inner Temple and waited for the crime to occur.
Yep.
Then he ultimately took a person's life.
Ah.
And he did all of that just to protect this witness?
Okay, that's right.
If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her.
So you say.
I am what you see. I am certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress.
You're certainly not a Mario. This killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect his witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural. I don't care if it is. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Yep. Now you know that I know, Maya. I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? I get it. But at the end of the day, he's the murderer. That's how I had to prove Iris and you innocent.
Okay, Trite, I'm all ears. Let's hear it.
It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. And this gives us the mystery of who this freaking Prosecutor Godot is. Looking at his face, listening to his theme, and that conversation we had with Iris not too long ago, there's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Miss Mia Fey's only sister.
Mia Fey.
You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney.
Well, wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney?
With your honors-piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot? His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? And he got poisoned, and that's why he's been brought back from hell, you see. So the truth finally comes out.
The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago.
Diego Armando! The name rings a bell! It should, Your Honor. All this is related to a single case. Yup, starting with that one with Terry Falls, a case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. And well, Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. Yes, we got to see the reaction. It's my fault! It's my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself!
Mia, you can't cry yet.
And he reacted very strongly and passionately about that.
The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
Yup. He reached out to help her.
I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients. The pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Me and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria.
Ah, I just remembered! 6 years ago, right in this courtroom, you were poisoned! Uh-huh.
Even I didn't see it coming.
Yep.
Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee.
Some newspapers at the time called it a murder. But very little information about the case was released to the press. Yeah, being in the courtroom, I can see why. But you weren't dead at all.
No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma.
I see.
My body shut down, and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poisoned a real number of my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all my hair turned white due to the damage it caused.
That's terrible.
Apparently it was a miracle I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed as I drank that poisoned brew.
And that's why you stand here today.
Then one morning my eyes flew open, from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee.
For 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years?
And the worst possible news was waiting for me.
Yep, the one you loved, and wanted to help.
Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I'd already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death.
The woman you loathed?
The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne!
Yeah, you couldn't get your own revenge either, huh? Such a shame.
Ha! Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up.
Then that's so sad.
For someone like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons I decided to become a prosecutor.
If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live?
The first was you, Trite.
Huh? Me?
If I had drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her. When you let her die, it was all your fault.
I It wasn't like that.
I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor? Well, the reason for living, she goes by the name of Maya Fey.
Huh? You mean me?
You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia.
Right.
1 year ago, when the Karine Village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was plotting something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her.
That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center.
I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal is to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it.
That makes sense. Yep, if Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. Damn her and her deceptive mother.
Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of House Court Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey.
But how'd you contact my mother?
Ah, so that's why Iris did all that.
She'd been missing for almost 20 years.
Officially, yes.
What? What do you mean, officially?
Right. I mean, they were officers, and she disappeared. I mean,
You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government.
now you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of the Karine had great authority.
Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor.
So my mother was cooperating with you?
So that's why she was there.
Don't ever forget, no matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you.
She was always...
That's why. I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it? The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple.
Right. They met there.
That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fey, if necessary.
Wow.
Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price.
Mother...
Man, that is actually pretty touching.
That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan.
You mean Pearls, don't you?
We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne.
So that was when you came up with a plan.
Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight?
Well,
If you like, you could come to my room. Perhaps we could read some books together.
Yeah, she tried to distract Pearl, of course.
We thought we prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up.
she was worried and followed me to the inner temple.
Ah, that's what she talked to me about Pearl's whereabouts, couldn't find her. She left and then channeled Dahlia. Aha!
That was the thing we were most afraid of. And that's why Misty Fey had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What? What do you mean?
If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself.
As Master of Karine, Misty Fey's power is supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fey would be able to.
Ah,
Ah!
her power was so strong that it couldn't be taken from her. Aha!
What? Is that true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fey. That's why I hid myself in the inner temple, just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne.
No.
Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, trite.
Huh?
There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense attorney, but you're going to have to do the rest yourself.
Shit.
The background leading up to the incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fey, and I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot.
Right, I gotta prove it's Godot and not Maya. That's the whole reason I'm doing it this way.
Well, Trite, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own.
No, Nick, please don't.
But Maya...
I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot.
God damn it.
I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia. And me too!
Maya, I know that.
Nick!
But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify.
Miss May, your testimony, please.
That's right. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. And, well, I better save now, because we're definitely not going to be able to get to the end of this one without extending to a good bit over an hour. Like I said, this trial is long. And you thought the one for Damon Gaunt was long. Ha! I want to hear the truth from your own lips.
I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick.
There we go.
All right, young lady, tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder?
And there you have it, folks. We have pretty much definitive proof of why Godot was there and the fact that he would do anything to protect Maya for Mia's sake. Even got her mother there, making her appear there to be a victim as well, unfortunately. Now we know it's Godot for sure, and we gotta go through one last testimony to prove that fact. That will be the finale! So, come back next time for the grand finale of Ace Attorney, Trials, Tribulations, as well as the entire Ace Attorney trilogy, as it were. As we, well, prove Iris and Maya innocent, to show that Godot was willing to go through this plan to protect Maya once and for all.